Welcome to my channel. If you like the content, please subscribe for more.
Before we begin, please let me know in the comments, what do you think about this new voice? Do you like it or prefer the old one? My story, after 1 year. This is my first post, but found this sub helpful in the last year, knowing I'm not alone. It has been 1 year since my life was flipped upside down. Here is my story. My ex-partner and I first met in our early 20s in 2008. We have had our share of ups and downs in our relationship, but I stood by her throughout it all, never faltering. She has a medical condition that has caused tension in our relationship and has made our lives challenging on numerous occasions. Our daughter was born in 2011, and being a father is the most crucial role in my life. In 2018, my ex was involved in a severe car accident that nearly took her life. I stayed by her side while she spent a month in the hospital and in the following years during her rehabilitation. D-Day. In March 2022, she informed me that she would be staying with a friend who was visiting for the weekend. I encouraged her to enjoy herself, and she was texting me while out. However, it wasn't with a friend, but with her affair partner. That weekend, her friend had unfriended me on social media, which made me suspicious. When she returned home on Sunday morning, she acted strangely and said she had to take one of our dogs to the dog park. After starting a load of laundry, she left. With my suspicions aroused, I went through her suitcase and found lingerie in the liner. While on the phone with my best friend, he suggested that it might be nothing, but I knew better. I ended the call and asked her directly, "Are you cheating on me?" Her response was yes, and I told her to stay away while I packed my things to leave. She came home soon after and confessed that she had been dating another man for 2 months and planned to leave me during the summer, taking our daughter with her to another state to be with her affair partner. 2 months before this revelation, while I was at home with our daughter and her friend for a sleepover, she was with her app. All of this news shattered me. The following weeks were a difficult time for me. I couldn't eat or sleep, and I struggled to work. We came to an agreement that our daughter would stay at home, and we would take turns spending time with her. However, after only 3 weeks, I had had enough. I hired a lawyer to draft papers, and while she was away with her affair partner, I moved out, taking the household items I wanted. She was furious when she returned and was served with the papers 2 days later. Over the next few months, we negotiated the terms of our parenting plan. She made threats that I would regret my actions, but we finally agreed on a proposal, and finalized the plan in the fall of 2020. When we went before the judge, she appeared in court with her affair partner, and it was the first time I met him. Now, we have settled into the parenting plan, and my daughter spends most of her time with me, even during school days. Although my ex-partner and I are no longer together, I still have a close relationship with most of her family members, who I love and consider family members, I hope to maintain that connection. I have met someone new who has been very patient and supportive of me, and we are there for each other. It feels like a refreshing change. I am sharing my story to show respect for those who have allowed themselves to be vulnerable while experiencing this pain. I have gained strength from all of you, even though I still have difficult times. I don't like being a part of this club, but I am grateful that I am not alone. For anyone who is going through a similar situation, take things one step at a time, and we will all get through this. I am here for anyone who needs someone to talk to. Redditors' reactions. Next story after. Redditor 1. Just go slow, brother, real slow. Redditor follow-up. Peas. My wife left our 27-year marriage for her app. I know exactly how you feel. Redditor 2. I'm happy you met someone new. Redditor 3. Good on you. Glad you got your daughter. Some people are just so defeated when someone cheats and they forget to protect the child. You were proactive. I commend you for it. Hope the new relationship works out. Up answer. Appreciate that. My daughter was and is my #1 priority while going through everything. I hope she does not ever normalize her mom's choices. Story 2. Is it true that you are married to your wife? What do you mean? I had hired a detective to investigate. Upon receiving the detective's report, I couldn't conceal my shock at the unexpected findings. If my wife is taking advantage of my frequent night shifts, I will never forgive her. My name is John Smith, and I work at a factory. In 2 months, we will celebrate our first New Year since I got married. Anna, my wife, whom I married 6 months ago, is 5 years younger than me and a very kind woman. We met at a party and hit it off because we share the same last name. We got married after 4 years of dating. Since his parents had already passed away and she had no relatives, we didn't have a wedding ceremony. We just took wedding photos, and that was all. Anna is a regional manager of a sales branch. She works at the branch office and travels to various sites. We decided to work as much as we could before having kids to save up. Since I mostly work night shifts, I can relax on my days off. I have more days off than other workers because one night shift is counted as 2 days of work. Anna's job also has a flexible schedule, so she could often combine her days off. We enjoyed our life as newlyweds by going on day trips and dates. One day, after a night shift, I came home and found Anna still at home. I asked her curiously, "Anna, you're not off today, are you?" She paused for a moment, seemingly having a hard time getting the words out, and replied, "Yeah, that's the thing. I have a trip tomorrow, and it's a bit long, so I suddenly decided to take today off." I felt lonely with the suddenness and length of the trip. Although I have 2 days off in a row tomorrow and the day after, I thought I could spend a relaxing evening with Anna, but since it's work, it couldn't be helped. I took Anna to the airport, which took about 2 hours to drive, then 2 hours by plane to New York, where the head office is located. Since I don't get to go there often, I spent some time in the area. I had lunch at a famous cafe nearby and then headed home. As I lay exhausted on the sofa, I discovered an unfamiliar envelope beneath the TV. I felt guilty for opening it, but inside were several photos of Anna with a man and a little girl standing in front of a school. I couldn't believe what I was seeing and wondered if Anna was cheating on me and had a child from an affair. In a panic, I called Anna's workplace to inquire about her business trip, but to my surprise, I learned that she was on bereavement leave. Anna had told me she was going on a business trip, but in reality, she took time off to attend to personal matters. I couldn't believe I hadn't been informed of this and suspected she may have lied to spend time with the man and child in the photos. Filled with suspicion, I hired a detective agency the next day and realized that I had been living a lie for the past 4 years since we started dating. It was a hollow realization that left me feeling empty. I fell asleep without realizing it, probably due to exhaustion. When I woke up, it was already 6 a.m., and I had an appointment at the detective agency at 10 a.m. I prepared everything and arrived at the office, where I placed the envelope I had found the day before carefully in a large bag to avoid bending. Being at a detective agency for the first time, my mind went blank as soon as I entered the office. I was greeted by a young man in his mid-20s who looked casual and made me wonder if he was reliable enough to be a detective. However, his carefree smile made me feel at ease. I was feeling nervous in the unfamiliar setting, being new to a detective agency. Despite my haste, the young detective put me at ease, inviting me to take a seat on the sofa. I handed over the envelope containing the photos that had led me to suspect my wife of infidelity. The detective studied them, making copies of the ones that could serve as evidence. One of the photos, which showed Anna, the man, and the little girl in front of a school, caught the detective's attention. He was able to identify the school from the photo and called them to inquire about the girl. He learned that she was a student there, but was currently on leave from school. In order to gather more evidence, the detective suggested staking out the route that Anna and the man might take to the school. I was informed that this would be expensive, as the kindergarten was in New York. However, I was able to afford the fee thanks to my interest in stocks and forex, which I have been investing in since becoming an adult. Although I didn't know how long the investigation would take, I was determined to do anything to get proof of my wife's infidelity and humiliation. The detective surmised that if Anna returned, the little girl in the photo would likely show up at school. The next day, I resumed my daily routine and returned the envelopes to their original place. Soon after, I received a message from Anna informing me that her business trip had been prolonged and she would return on Sunday as planned. On the day of her return, I contacted the detective who was ready to begin the investigation. Later that evening, the detective called with some distressing news. During the preliminary investigation, an unexpected situation came to light. I asked what the situation was, and he requested to meet with me the next day. I agreed and went to his office immediately after my shift ended. I asked the detective if my wife was having an affair, but he hesitated before replying that the situation was even worse than that. He informed me that although my wife had taken bereavement leave from work, he had reason to question whether we were truly married. Confused, I asked him to clarify, and he revealed that he had gone to New York and found my wife living with her husband and child in their home near the kindergarten. They had been residing there for the past 4 years, and my wife only visited New York a few times a year for the funeral of her husband's grandfather, who also lived there. The news that the detective told me left me stunned. I was uncertain what to expect, and the detective's serious demeanor only made matters worse. After some hesitation, the detective revealed that my wife had not been having an affair, but rather something even more troubling. The detective suggested that I check with the Department of Records to see if my marriage was valid. Upon visiting City Hall, I discovered that my marriage was not registered, and my wife had lied to me about it. Although upset, I managed to control my emotions and decide on my next steps. Even when I saw my wife cooking dinner for me, I remembered the man and girl in the photo, and I knew that losing my temper would not help me uncover the truth. Since the previous day, I was speechless and found it hard to judge the situation. It was due to the fact that Anna and I had the same last name. The detective advised me to check with the Department of Records. So, I thanked him and went to City Hall to confirm the residence of my household. Unfortunately, only my name was listed, and I got confused and complained to the staff. The staff member apologized and told me that they couldn't find any record of my marriage. I persisted and begged them, telling them my wife's name is Anna Smith. Eventually, I left City Hall feeling sorry for the trouble I had caused. Later on, I went home and tried to figure out how to find out about Anna's real husband. A week later, I found Anna's phone, and on it was a man with the girl from the photo as his profile picture. I called him and told him who I was, and he told me that he was Anna's husband. It turned out that Anna had been cheating on me all along. Her husband even offered to meet me near my area, which I accepted. Anna then messaged me, telling me she was going back to her hometown for New Year's. However, I knew she was lying because her parents still lived in the next town over. With 1 month left until New Year's, I searched for a lawyer specializing in domestic conflicts and made a plan to get back at Anna. I acted normally toward Anna until the day of my plan, but it was a pain in the ass pretending everything was fine. After a month of waiting, the day of the plan had arrived. I lied to Anna, telling her I had to work the night shift on the 30th and wished her a safe trip and Happy New Year's. I had already arranged to take leave from work from the 30th to the 2nd. On the 30th, I stayed at a hotel, and on the 31st, I went to meet Anna's husband, Roy. He looked exactly like the photo, and we briefly introduced ourselves before getting to work on the plan. Roy had flown all the way from New York with his parents and his daughter, the 5-year-old girl in the picture. I asked him to leave his daughter with her grandmother at their hotel, as she was too young for a conversation. Roy, his father, and I then headed to Anna's parents' house, where it seemed Roy had already talked with them in advance. When Anna returned home as planned on the eve of the 31st, she was shocked to see me there. I calmly asked her how she thought we were married, and she stammered, claiming it wasn't what I thought. But Roy, his father, and Anna's parents all glared at her with demon-like expressions, and Roy called her out on her fraud of a marriage and affair. He even revealed that our company told him that she almost never traveled for work. Anna's deception was exposed, and I regretted ever believing her. As the two of us gazed at Anna, she suddenly erupted into laughter.
"Why did you have to find out?"
she asked.
"I was enjoying living a double life, especially fooling you, John. It was easy since we have the same last name and you work mostly at night. And you, mother."
She turned to Roy's mother. "Didn't you raise me to be independent?" Roy's mother scolded her and then punched her in the face.
"Well, you had 3 other lovers besides me, didn't you?"
I confronted Anna, showing her the photo as proof. She panicked and accused me of being a stalker and threatened to sue me. "I thought you were cheating on me, so I hired a detective to collect evidence. You and Roy will have to pay us a huge amount of money for this," I declared. Anna suddenly fell to her knees, begging and crying for mercy. "I'm sorry, please. Anything but the money. I'll continue seeing both of you the way I have, so don't make me pay for this," she screamed, hoping to avoid paying the damages. I was stunned and speechless, but I asked her what she meant. She revealed that she had been giving most of her money to her lovers and had nothing left to pay. I was no longer interested in talking to her and left Anna's parents' house. Later, I hired a lawyer to sue Anna for falsifying our marriage, and with the lawyer's help, I got my money back. I felt bad for Roy and offered to give him some of the money, but he refused and thanked me for providing evidence of Anna's infidelity. We became friends, and Roy informed me that he had received compensation from one of Anna's other lovers. Roy broke up with Anna and got child support. One of Anna's affairs was with a coworker who was demoted and transferred to another company. A younger colleague started making Anna do extra work, but she couldn't quit because she had to pay for my compensation. I moved out of my house and rented a small room to live alone. I am now living a comfortable life, and I visit New York every year to see Roy and his daughter, and we stay in touch. A Story 3. My longtime girlfriend of 5 years broke up with me because her new friends told her an open relationship was the solution. I'm currently trying to recover from this one, but I want to type it out now that I know everything. My longtime partner and live-in girlfriend broke up with me. Seems standard, but the reason got to me. I was driving home from work and I call her, because I always call her on my way home to check in. She sounded off and so I started prodding. She lets it slip that she wants to break up. While I'm driving, I become hysterical and have to abandon my car on the side of the road, and my family had to drive out to get me. I call her again minutes later. I needed an explanation, and she just blurts out on the phone she wanted an open relationship. Now, from my time on the internet and life, if someone suddenly proposes an open relationship in a previously monogamous one, it may be a sign that they have cheated, have someone in mind. It's a huge red flag. I will add she had gotten cold towards me for a while and had joked about going on friend dates. After staying the night with my parents, I went over the day after to get most of my stuff. I asked her to fully explain herself. Her answer was simply she fell out of love with me, and she hasn't loved me in a long time. She then decided the best option was to ask her college friends. They suggested we start an open relationship. I was furious. I don't know who thinks that's the solution to a relationship issue. I got angry and took my stuff and left. She threw away 4 years because she wasn't willing to be an adult and talk to me. She also added she felt like she had no options because I wasn't home enough and didn't give her enough affection. I will also add I'm the only one of us who has a job. She does college full-time. She has only 3 classes and spends most of her days out with friends while I work 40-50 hours a week, and I did almost all house chores except dishes. I'm now scrambling because I don't have a home anymore and we adopted a cat. She is unable to care for the cat as she gets overwhelmed at scooping litter and basic care. Currently, the cat is still with her, but when I went to get my stuff, it was clear litter had not even been scooped once and was overflowing as well as the cat didn't have food in the bowl. Don't get me started on her and the rats. She refuses to clean their cage, so that also falls on me. Today, I'm going to get my animals. My mom is willing to see if we can house them here. That's all. I lost 4 years over someone who saw me as a mother and not a partner. Sorry for any formatting issues. Edit update. To clear up some frequent asked questions and concerns. 1. We did not have an apartment. We lived in a home owned by her father as her family is very well off. The home was paid for and we were not asked to pay rent. I covered all utilities month by month. She does not have my cards anymore, so clean split on finances. No joint accounts, thank God. 2. Pet's all safe with me now. Writing this as my cat attacks her toy mice at the foot of my bed. I got all my stuff today with my parents. Everything that I paid for, so the bed, sofa, all the decorations. My wine glass is eked. Rats are also safe and have a nice cozy space to adjust. Happy boys are getting plenty of food and love in a newly clean cage. Kitty has a spotless litter box. 3. I have blocked her on all media. Thank you all for your concern. Now that the anger has subsided, I'm ready to be myself. I've missed a lot, so I'm ready to find myself. I also am ready to find myself. I also understand she was very sheltered and spoiled. She was never truly ready or prepared for something serious that I find comfort in. It's not my fault, and I'm not unlovable. Update 2. I received a call from my ex-girlfriend, and her voice was trembling with sobs interrupting her words. She told me that her friends had been making fun of her for the past few days because she is living in a trashed home and had recently fired her housemaid, me, the guy that cleaned everything. Can you believe it? Apparently, she's now the pushover of the group and can't make any decisions for herself.
Oh, God. It's not like she had any agency in the matter when she decided to break up with me over the phone and then blame me for everything.
And don't even get me started on the whole open relationship thing. Classic movie, right? I'm sure it had nothing to do with the fact that she was cheating on me with someone else. Nope, not at all. Not like I heard from a mutual friend that she's been done by 2 guys on the washing machine. But hey, at least she's got her friends to make her feel better, right? Who needs a job or a stable home when you've got a group of people to laugh at your expense? I have no pity for her. She made her bed, now she can lie in it. If she can find a clean spot, that is.